Good morning. Hello, everyone. Is that coming through? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Interfaith Community Sanctuary. Got to get our sound system all in order here. My name is Sally Jo Gilbert de Vargas. I'm co-minister here with Imam Jamal Rahman, and we're very pleased to have you here with us this morning to celebrate our time together, Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day to everyone, although Memorial Day, you know, it's a happy, sad day. We think about those people we have lost in wars and struggles, and people who have died for their country, died for freedom, died for things they really believe in. And we honor those people, and we honor their families and all of the people who have lost their loved ones worldwide in this world. And we appreciate all those who are here, left behind, also struggling and striving for peace in the world. And I've lit the world peace candles on that angle, and we've opened the altar to allow the wisdom of the ages and of the sages in the ages and all the beautiful traditions, some of which we have gathered here in this altar, that their wisdom and their beauty will come into our service today and come into our presence along with all of those of us who are here in person. And we're going to be welcoming in our ancestors and honoring our first people, and I have asked Rashid to help us with that this morning. Thank you, Rashid.
Thank you, Sally Jo. Good morning. So we celebrate our ancestors. Not just our own, we celebrate all ancestors. And we invite them to join us here today. Allow us, dear ancestors, to express our gratitude for everything that you've given us. You've shown us what hard work and determination can accomplish. And we've learned so much from the wisdom and the knowledge that you passed down to us. We are a continuation of you. You reside in us. We feel your connection. You connect us with the past, just as we will connect our descendants someday. We honor you, and will always remember you and these sacred connections. Blessed be. As we gather here today, we do so on the ancestral homeland of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish, which also includes the Duwamish. You came and you settled this land centuries before we arrived. We see you, and we name you the first people of Seattle, which incidentally is named after your chief. We honor your hard work and your sacrifice and your environmental stewardship for this beautiful land, which sadly remains unceded. We hold a vision that one day your tribal sovereignty will be restored. And we also wish to acknowledge and celebrate your spiritual leaders, which have gifted us with acts and shown us through examples their kindness, their compassion, and their generosity. Blessed be.
Thank you, Rashid. I'm going to offer a reading for the Divine Feminine. And I'd like to point out we have a special altar here and a candle lit as a reminder that Divine Feminine exists in all of us, all human beings, all creatures, all of the earth. After all, we tend to call the earth Mother Earth, and we like to think of the feminine principle as being a principle, not a being per se, but a principle that exists within each and every one of us, along with a masculine principle. And in the Chinese system, they call it yin and yang, and they are equally honored. And the idea is to strive for balance between the two forces as they interact within each and every one of us. So I have a short reading from Saint Teresa of Avila, who was a Christian saint of many centuries ago. Her heart is full of joy with love, for in the Lord her mind is stilled. She has renounced every selfish attachment and draws abiding joy and strength from the one within. She lives not for herself, but lives to serve the Lord of love in all, and swims across the sea of life, breasting its rough waves joyfully. Amen. I'd also like to take a moment now to introduce our speaker this morning. Oh, you want that? I thought that would come after. You want the plane to come now? Okay. Go ahead, do the music. Go for it.
Hello, everyone. This piece is called Dawn, and Elizabeth and I created it ourselves together, and this is the first public performance of it.
Wow. We're stepping things up around here. That's really something. Beautiful, beautiful music and collaboration and love and joy. Thank you so much, Elizabeth and Steve. We'll hear more later. Thank you so much for sharing your beauty with us this morning. And now it's time to introduce our speaker for the morning, and one of our long-standing members of this community, Elizabeth Uding. And she's been around pretty much as long as I've been around, at least about 20 years. And she has been an active member of our community in so many ways, is currently serving as our guiding council president. And she has a beautiful, interesting history of her spiritual path, which I think she's going to share some of that with us today. She was, in her upbringing, she was raised as a Catholic, and Jesus was very dear to her heart. And in her young adulthood, she says that she was wandering away from any kind of spiritual path, at least as she defined it at the time. And as an adult, she craved spiritual community, and she found it in the Unitarian Universalism. She has participated in the Unitarian Universalist community here in Seattle. But it was when she came to Interfaith Community Sanctuary that she says she experienced the teachings of our Imam Jamal Rahman, and that's when her faith and understanding started to deepen. And this was her launching board into the world of interfaith. She has experienced the depths of 2 Sufi traditions, A Course in Miracles, shamanism, vision fasts, and the medicine wheel from a variety of indigenous traditions. And recently, she has been taking a dive into Buddhism, which you will hear about, since it's also something that we are taking a dive into as a community. And Elizabeth hosts a small gathering once a month to experience nature as teacher as part of the Wild Church Network. And that happens down at Carkeek Park. Since it's Wild Church, it has to take place in the wild of Ballard. And so we will be hearing more from Elizabeth directly in just now. And we're very happy to have her here with us. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Now it's on. It's on? All right. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for whoever is watching from out there. Yeah, my voice is kind of scratchy. About 2 weeks ago, I had laryngitis, and it was getting better. And then, I don't know, maybe there was a big pollen drop or something, because now my voice is going away again. So hopefully it will last at least till the end of this service. About the spiritual discernment, every year this congregation picks some theme, often a book, that they use as a spiritual discernment for the year. And this year we are following Thich Nhat Hanh's Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, an amazing book. And Sally Jo has broken down a lot of the concepts. We're not like going chapter by chapter, but kind of the big concepts, and has broken them down so that we're following a more intense theme each month. And this month, it's the principle of transforming suffering with the energy of the artist. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't know if I'm really hitting the energy of the artist that much, but I will be talking about transforming suffering. But yeah, so I have been basically traipsing through a bunch of different spiritual traditions, and lately it's been Buddhism. Besides reading various Buddhist books, I've also been attending the Kadampa Center and have learned an immense amount there. And as I've gone through these various traditions, I pick up little bits and pieces, and I come to my own conclusions about things. And some of what I say may splash in your heart. And some of what I say may rub you the wrong way. And you have 2 choices. when something rubs you the wrong way, which is to like toss it back to the cosmic soup. Or, as Ram Dass would say, use it as grist for the mill. And that's where our real spiritual development comes from. So, let's see how much grist I have for you. One of the principles in Sufism is that suffering only exists within the mind. And that can be kind of hard to hear, especially if we're in a state of suffering. It's like, so you're blaming me for my own suffering? And it's like, no. And? Yeah. So we're kind of diving into that. Another principle is that every experience that we have is due to karma. Now, sometimes we tend to think that karma applies to certain situations. For instance, I've got a friend who seems to have terrible travel karma. Every time he books a flight to go someplace, there's lost luggage, there's delays, there's missed connections, and it's just like, what is up with that, man? Like, I got bad travel karma. And so we kind of package it into certain areas, but actually, are you happy right now? Good karma. It's because of your karma. Karma comes from the Sanskrit word action. And when you apply it in a spiritual sense, we are reminded that every action has a consequence. So it is the consequences of what we have done earlier, whether it was earlier this morning or yesterday, having eaten well and exercised. Everything that we do produces karma that will either ripen right away, or sometimes it sits hidden. Sometimes it sits hidden for a good chunk of your life. Maybe it sits hidden for multiple lifetimes. So that's another thing that can sometimes be difficult. If you're having a difficult time in your life, it kind of feels like blaming yourself. But here's something that, and this is my own conclusion, nobody said this to me, but I believe that all karma is in some way collective karma. Because Thich Nhat Hanh, in his books, he talks about the Diamond Sutra. And in the Diamond Sutra, there are 4 notions, he says, that you have to throw away. Not just like put them on the sidelines, but throw them away. And the first of those is the existence of a separate self. So if I don't have a separate self, how can it be my karma? But there is a tendency for karma to run in bloodlines, which is how we get generational trauma and generational karma. It's a very complex subject, all this karma. I really love one of Jamal's stories, and it's the one where God is about to send a bunch of humans, a bunch of souls down to become manifest as humans. And before they go down, he says, come over here. You see this tree? It's hanging with lots of little packages on it. And these packages, every one of you has to take one of these packages as you go down and become manifest as a human on the planet. And some of the packages are big and some are small. And all of them contain some kind of challenge. a whole bundle of challenges, difficulties, basically karmic repercussions. So everybody has to take one, and some people took the big ones. And so we have to thank them for taking the big ones so that we didn't end up with them. So we definitely have to remember, sometimes it's frustrating when we see somebody caught and never getting out of their troubles. And we have to remember to say, thank you for dealing with that, for taking that package. Another subject that kind of comes up in Buddhism as well as other traditions. Anyone who's been here knows that we have kind of two levels of reality. We have our physical self and our spiritual self, right? In Buddhism, they talk about conventional truth and the ultimate truth. And the ultimate truth is emptiness. The ultimate truth is that we are spirit, and the conventional truth is that we have a body. And the two are intertwined. It's not like one is over here and one is over there. We can't decide on any particular day that, oh, I'm just in my spiritual self today. I'm going to drive on the other side of the road. So we have to pay attention to the physical as well, all the time. I remember one of the first classes I took from Jamal many years ago was about keeping one foot in the physical world and one foot in the spiritual world. It's a tough walking. It's a balancing act. And I love this metaphor that Pema Chodron uses about us each being a gemstone, a pure gemstone. That is our true essence. It is absolutely pure, and it is impervious, which means nothing can hurt it. So that is our true essence. But just like a gemstone, when you chip it out of the earth, it comes with a bunch of non-gem material on the outside, a bunch of crud. And so that's how we're walking in the world. There's a pure center to us with this crud on the outside. And every spiritual tradition has some sort of practice where it's especially for purification. Any spiritual practice will help in purification. But, you know, with the Sufis, they have astaghfirullah, which means I beg forgiveness of God. The Christians will say, Kyrie eleison, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy. In the Buddhist tradition, they do prostrations. With my body, my speech, and my mind, I prostrate. And all of these spiritual purification process, there's an easy way to think that, oh, there's something like not quite right with me, and so I have to clean it up. But to turn it around a little bit, there's nothing wrong with the core. It's already absolutely pure. And the purification is just rubbing the crud off the outside. It's getting it clean enough so that we can see ourselves. And if you've ever been around spiritual people who have really done their work, and I see some in the room here, it's a joy to be around them because we know that they can see themselves and therefore they can see us. Newborn babies. Almost everybody loves to be around a newborn baby. And it's not only to see their angelic look, but it's when they look at us. Because they are fresh on this planet, they don't have the pylon. They don't even see the crud on the outside. They look at us and they smile because they see straight to the heart of our true essence. So, let me see where I am here. So with all this purity, why do we even have a body? You know, why couldn't we just stay in the angelic realms and be pure and just glorify God? The Sufi tradition, the way they answer this is with a saying that says, I was a secret treasure and I longed to be known. And so I created all of the creations. I created all of the worlds, plural, seen and unseen. And this same concept, you can find it in the Jewish Kabbalistic tradition. It's in Christianity. It's in a lot of traditions. But that's the way, that statement is the way the Islamic and Sufi tradition says it, which touches my heart. And so we have a body. Because an interesting thing is, if you look at a lot of creation stories from lots of different traditions, and I do not claim to be a scholar of creation stories, but I've read a few, and they're weirdly different, except there's one thing they have in common, the ones I've read, most of them, is that humans were created last. Why is that? Well, the thing I've come to conclude is that God wasn't finished until he created a mistake maker. We are God's holy mistake makers, and boy, do we do it well. So it's not really that he wanted a mistake maker. He wanted a creator. Humans, beyond any other creature, is capable of a wider range of making a choice, making an action, and actions have consequences. Every time we are doing something, we are creating a new something that can be acted upon. And we have to remember that action, the word action includes thoughts and it includes speech. So all of those are actions that are creating consequences. And so we're out there doing things. But hey, wait a minute, do we have to make mistakes in order to be God's fabulous creators? It's like, yes, we do. Because if borders had been put on the mistake-making process, then it would make it so that we couldn't fractal out in any direction with all of our actions. If you're not out there making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. You know, there's the story from the Bible about the king who gave 10 gold pieces, 10 whatever, to dude number 1, and gave the same to dude number 2, okay? This guy goes and buries it, wants to keep it safe. And this guy goes out into the world and, tries things. He buys something and then sells it. He does this and that, and he multiplies what he was given. And so they both come back to the king in a year, and this guy says, look, I kept it safe. And he says, okay. But he's very happy with the one who went out and tried things. Get out there, make mistakes, get messy. And who remembers Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus? Yeah, who knew that she was a prophetic figure? We are God's mistake makers. And as mistake makers, sometimes instead of cleaning up the crud on our gem, sometimes we pile it on and we forget that there's a holy essence that is the real us. And so I'm going to do a practice. And we're going to use the purpose of the practice is to remember our divine essence. We're going to use 2 words from the Arabic language. They are in the Quran, and they are considered qualities of the divine one. And by the way, anytime I say God, if that doesn't quite work for you, you can always substitute the ground of existence or great mystery. But we are remembering by using these 2 words, Ya Nor and Ya Kudus. So Ya is actually a separate word which means O. Nor means light. And Kudus means holiness and also purity. So I am going to say the words Ya Nor, Ya Kudus 5 times. And while I do this, if you would like to participate, you can close your eyes, and while I'm saying Ya Nor, imagine a golden stream of light coming in through the top of your crown. And while I say Ya Kudus, know that the auric field, that field of light that is around our body, I say Ya Kudus, feel it shine out. So that beam of light comes down through the crown of our head, expands our heart, and Ya Kudus, we expand our light field and let it radiate into the world. So 5 times. Ya Nor. Ya Kudus. 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 With some slow, deep breaths, bring your consciousness back into the room. And when you're ready, you You can open your eyes. And for a few minutes, we're going to have some more music. So if you want to stay in your radiant Kudus while we have some music. So we've got a job to do. Make mistakes. But that's not the only job. We need to clean them up. Make mistakes and clean them up. Isn't that what life is? So, and by the way, how can anything be a mistake if we're supposed to make mistakes and we make a mistake? And what is a mistake? A mistake would be any action that causes more pain in the world and instead of less pain for ourselves or others. But because we're supposed to make mistakes, it kind of goes along with Rumi's, out beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field, I will meet you there. For when the soul lies down in that green grass, the world is too big to talk about. Well, that's because right doing, wrong doing, it's all what we were created for. So how do we clean up the karmic loop? How do we make it so that there's less suffering in the world? This is what we're doing all the time. We have perceptions, and then we interpret what we perceive, and then we act on that, and then we perceive the world as we've just created it. And the interpretation part, that's where we really got to do our work. Perhaps you know someone who tends to get their news from Facebook. Yeah, and we all know that Facebook quickly figures out exactly what it is that we believe and just feeds us, information to confirm what we already thought. It's not really news. And so the interpretation just piles on what we already believed. So we have to break into, and guess what? We don't need Facebook to do that. We are doing it all the time, Facebook or not. We have beliefs in our head, and we tend to block out anything that we really don't want to hear. Or if we hear it, we say, I don't think so. But what if we opened ourselves to new interpretations? Another thing about karma is sometimes it lies hidden for a while. That's called unripened karma. And whenever something is starting to bug you, it's like, that's karma that is ripening. That's how we know that there's a hidden karmic imprint. Something is bugging us. It means we got something to clean up. It means we need to open ourselves to a bigger interpretation. And so I've got a second practice. And we're going to use the same two words. We're going to use Ya Nor and Ya Kudus. But the difference here is Ya Nor, like before, is coming in through the crown of the head. Ya Kudus is going to exude from our heart center. It's going to exude from our heart center to a person that we, in our mind, sit in front of us. And the person you're going to sit in front of you is somebody who annoys you, somebody who triggers you. And I encourage you not to use the worst case scenario the first time you do this. Oh, my lover just left me last week for someone else, and I'm angry and I'm sad. And don't use that person. Use the guy who walks his dog around the neighborhood and never picks up the dog poop. Yeah. Use that guy, whoever that is for you. It's like, put someone who triggers you or annoys you in some way in front of you. And as we send this light to them from essence to essence, right through the pylon of crud, it's very much like what the Hindus, the yogis, say at the end of a yogic practice. They'll say, Namaste, which means from my heart to yours. It really means the divine in me sees the divine in you. So that's the same energy that we're bringing up here. So we're going to do Ya Nor, Ya Kudus 5 times. So settling in and taking a few deep breaths. Finding the person you want to set in front of you. Ya Nor, Ya Kudus, Ya Nor, Ya Kudus. Yanor. Ya Kudus. Yanor. Ya Kudus. Yanor. Ya Kudus. And with some slow, deep breaths, we bring ourselves back into the room. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. And so, this is one way that we can clean up some of the imprints. Some of the suffering in the world is to see our own light so that we can see the light of others. And you know, the word is transforming suffering. It's not getting rid of it. It's transforming it. You're taking that which was once negative and turning it into a positive. So I named the talk, "We Got This." Partly because I kept changing the theme of my talk, and I gave her something vague so I could keep changing it up until the last day. But I should have called it "We Are the Champions," because in our culture, we think of the word champion as I'm a winner. But the real word champion means someone who fights on behalf of another. Someone who goes through that struggle. So every time we do something to clear the karmic field, we're doing it for everybody. We're all champions. I'm so happy to be amongst champions. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. To sin means to miss the mark. Each what?
It's like an archery.
Yes.
You try over and over again without aiming, like in the Zen art of archery. Instead of aiming, you just simply look and let your soul guide the arrow.
Yeah. To aim without using the physical self, but the gem to send forth the arrow. Perhaps we'll miss the mark a lot less. Thank you, Richard.
Do you want to lead a little bit more discussion, a Q&A?
Sure, that would be great.
Since people will want to probably...
Where's the microphone?
Yeah. Typically, after our service where we have a congregant offering, and even actually after our guest worship services too, we like to open the field for people's responses, questions, responses, things that have come up for them for a few minutes, so that you can kind of have some chance to digest what you've heard. And Elizabeth gave us a lot to digest today. So if you'd like to, if you feel comfortable saying your name and mentioning something you'd like to say, and then if it's a question, then for Elizabeth, we can also answer that. So, Richard, you have one? Maybe just, yeah.
I don't want to miss it. Okay. In the book Zen in the Art of Archery by Eugene Herrigel, he's a German professor in pre-World War II Japan, and he signed up for a class along with his wife to learn about what Zen was all about. And for the first 3 months, the master archer tried to convince him that you shoot without thinking, just let it shoot. And for the first 3 months, the target was just 3 stacks of hay from 3 feet away, and he learned how to release it correctly. But he was wondering, when do I get to a target? He said, you'll know when you're ready for the target. And he still didn't understand. But he kept on shooting, and eventually he discovered that unconsciously the arrow went straight to the bullseye after his 3-month introduction, you might say. And he wrote a book on it, and I have that book, and I don't know if it's still in publication, but it reminded me of the word sin, the Greek word, to miss the mark. It seems like they go together, the ancient Greek philosophers and that particular book. Anyway, okay, I can pass it on now.
Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else have something they've thought of or curious about?
Elizabeth, what do you think the Buddhists, how do they conceive pain and suffering? Are there differences between them and similarities?
Yeah, there's a saying that I came across a long time ago. Pain is necessary. Suffering is optional. So we're going to experience pain because we live in bodies, and we're going through this physical universe. And so there's going to be pain in our life. But the idea of suffering is all in our mind. We can be experiencing pain and still not be suffering. The suffering comes from the interpretation. So we have a perception, and we can decide, is that painful, or is that just, it is. And sometimes, if it's physical pain, it's like, ow, that hurts. But there are people who override pain, physical pain, with their mind. There are people who deal with terrible circumstances in their lives, and they choose not to suffer. So that's what Buddhists mean by suffering only exists in the mind, because it's our choice how we respond.
Elizabeth, the subject is the third one. Whining is unacceptable. So in our classes, somebody would say, the Buddhists say that, they also add the third one, and whining is unacceptable.
Of course, I have to debate that because sometimes whining helps us get to the non-suffering of the pain. I'm living that with my mom and myself. And I visited my mom. She has Parkinson's, and she fell and did something to her ribs. So she's in. When they move her to put her to bed, it's really painful. And but she has an amazing ability to rise up, and she'll go, oh, and then you can hear her go, like she whistles through the pain, which says to me that she's like, she is suffering, but she's rising above. She's bringing joy to her heart, the suffering. So, yeah.
Transforming suffering.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
It's a continuous process.
I had not heard until you said today the portion of the Rumi quote where the beyond right and wrong is a field, and that's where I typically hear it end. But when you said the thing about there is so much there, I forget exactly what the words are how it's languaged, but the idea that it's easy for me to think in small terms, and not all terms, so that it's like this, I always think, oh, when I achieve, like let's say right and wrong, or
Okay,
interpret.
talk a little more
Sorry,
like
the
right.
interpreting of things is, I'm using only the right and wrong from the behind my two eyes within my brain and the experience I've had. But that quote about beyond the right and wrong that I may have experienced, or my best aim at the targets, is that allness. So it's this remembrance of there's so much more than just the little meanness that I can operate in, or that can operate in the world through us, and not in that field of all, or that field of so much more that could be seen in situations and brought than just the right and wrong that my ego might get from circumstances.
Okay, so I didn't quite hear it.
Oh, sorry. You want the whole thing again? It's a long one. Just this idea of like the after the right and wrong, there is, you said a field.
A field, I will meet you there.
Yeah, and then what did you say after that? The field, there is so much there.
Yeah. Whenever you open up, Buddhists call it emptiness, and in other traditions, they might call it unity.
Yeah.
I think he was asking what was the next line of the poem after that. When you
there's
say
a
you
field,
lie down.
the world is too big to talk about.
The world is too big, and that's what you were referring to, Doug, about there's much more there than our own idea of right and wrong, because each of us has been taught and has learned different ideas of right and wrong, given on so many circumstances in our lives. And then if we get beyond that, you won't even be wanting to talk about it again anymore.
Yeah.
Is that?
Once you get beyond that, you're not even in this loop at all. Once you get beyond the right and wrong, you've left the loop.
Okay. Well, at this point then, if no one has any other comments or questions or ideas, then we'll move into the rest of our service. And thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing all of your ideas and thoughts. And do we have time for some little more music, or do you want to go right into the end? It's up to you. Do you want to play any more? You guys want to play another piece for us? I mean, that's the artist in us. We sure love that. I thought you had two.
Well, yeah, but we haven't practiced the other one.
Oh, okay. So next time we'll get that one. Okay. So this is the time. Thank you so much. I can't get enough of music. You know how that is. And there are so many different ways to express the artist within us. We do acknowledge that the poetry that we quote and the stories that we tell and the beauty that we see around us, all that's part of the artist within, and we appreciate that. Thank you, Elizabeth. This is a time in our service where we share our wealth with each other in so many different ways all the time. We share our time and our energy, as Elizabeth has done today. We share our talent and skills, as our musicians have done today, Steve and Elizabeth. And we also share our wealth and our ability to earn money with the community so that we can keep up this beautiful historic building, keep it running, keep it in good order and in good health, so to speak, and all the programs that we're involved in. And we do appreciate the folks online who are able to give through the website and the PayPal and the links to give online. That's always welcome and wonderful and gracious. And all the people who use our building also do give back to the greater good, and we appreciate that, and we thank everybody for that. It's also important to realize that we are not just a Sunday morning operation. We are a Sunday morning operation. We're here every Sunday morning. And next Sunday, actually, we have our guest speaker, who is Sister Kathleen Pruitt, who was originally scheduled to be the first Sunday in May. And remember, her schedule had to change kind of at the last minute. And so she's coming this next Sunday. Interestingly enough, Sister Kathleen Pruitt is both a Christian nun, a Catholic nun, and a Buddhist nun. She's been trained in both traditions and has a really interesting story about that in her life. And I've heard her speak one other time. I was fascinated by her talk, and we invited her back to share with us, and she's coming next Sunday. So please do grace us with your presence, and I think you'll hear an interesting story about being a nun from two different traditions. We also, of course, every Sunday have a different service, and every fourth Sunday is our congregant sharing. Every second Sunday is our universal worship, where we have the altar in the middle of the floor, and we have readings and contemplations from 7 or 8 different traditions every second Sunday. And the third Sunday, of course, Imam Jamal Rahman gives his teachings from the Eastern wisdom traditions. So please continue to join us on Sunday mornings. We also have so many gatherings throughout the week, classes that meet, some online on Zoom, some meet here in person. We have Sufi groups that meet and do their Sufi practices. We have A Course in Miracles, which is an group that meets around a book called A Course in Miracles and discusses and learns from that. We have people who read other books together. Chris is leading a book group on a book that relates to the divine feminine and the different ways that evolved throughout time and more, right? And we have a meditation group, one which meets on Thursday evenings right here in the sanctuary, sitting in silence, and that's pretty much meditation 101. You come here and you sit in silence and you get to share afterwards, and our friend George always gives us a quote to contemplate at the beginning, and it's a beautiful time. So please check our website, and if you want specifics on times and locations and whether it's online or offline, or in person, I should say, it's all there, and Chiaki helps us keep that organized. And special events, you have something to mention? Oh, yeah, okay. Did you have a special event? Okay.
I've got kind of a save the date for August 8th, which is going to be a retreat on Whidbey Island at Earth Sanctuary. The topic, it's just a one-day retreat. The topic is we're going to look at the medicine wheel very briefly and then concentrate on the south, which is the summer of the medicine wheel, which is about childhood and belonging. So save the date. I haven't created a way to sign up for that yet, but August 8th.
And Jamal, you have a special program coming up with some guests too.
Thank you so much, Sally Jo. I believe it's a Saturday, on June 20th, from 9:30 to 1:30, we have a very special workshop at ICS, myself sharing interspiritual insights. Then Gina Salah, she will do wonderful world chants. And then Elizabeth the Queen, she will help us in the Dances of Universal Peace. So that's on June 20th, Saturday, 9:30 to 1:30.
Great, thank you. And that will be the collaborative effort around spiritual topics. It's wonderful to have Gina Salah back after so many years. She does her chanting evenings and wonderful singing. Many of us have been taking classes with Gina Salah, so we'll welcome her back after it's been a while since she's been here in the sanctuary. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for arranging that and being part of it. Are there any other special events coming up that I may not have thought of lately? Okay, keep your eyes open for that, because we have them listed on the website. Every Monday you can get an announcement from the Chiaki, just sends it right out to anyone who signs up for it. You have to go on the website and sign up for it yourself and put your own email in there, so that you'll get just a kind of a digest of what's happening in the coming week. And for the special events, it goes a little beyond the coming week, if you so you can plan and put them on your calendar. So those will all be there. So good. Well, at this time, we'll say goodbye to our friends at home and who are watching from afar, and thank them for being here with us. And we thank Bryce for making sure that they can be here with us and keeping our contact with the outside world strong on Sunday mornings. And then before we close up, we take some time for some sharing of our own hearts. And I keep the microphone on, it's not going out to the netherworld anymore, but just so those of us here can hear each other. And if you have any prayers to offer or any prayers to ask for,